in the first year, usually we have a housing assignment with a domestic student, and in the second year you get a chance to choose your own roommate. And for most of our international students, we chose an international student because we are a family, so we would want to live with someone you can really relate with. In first year, I was rooming with a domestic student, and the only thing we had in common was our major, biology, and we were always so much busy with our classes because I was taking a biology class and she was also taking biology and chemistry class, so we hardly had any time to interact. And most of the time it was me sometimes in the room alone, and when I used to go out to study in the library, then she used to be in the room, so we really never had any time to sit and talk or interact. And my current roommate is Beza, and she is also a class of 2016. And I see my rooming experience, it's more like an extension of friendship. It's like we hang out during weekend all together, all the internationals, and then when we go back to our room, then we would just converse what just happened, or we would just share our fond memories, or something fun happened in a party, we would just share with or talking about it again, or laughing about some of the jokes that happened in the party. So I find it more enjoyable because we can understand each other so well. So in order to live together, you need to choose a roommate who really understands you, and also who can have good time with you, and it's vice versa. So I'm really happy with my roommate too, and I will be rooming with her next year as well. And I know some of my international students, they're also keeping their roommates because we're just one big family. So yeah.
Let's see, I knew nothing about who I was going to room with when I came here. Even during the international orientation week, I didn't know anything. And then I met Linda, the girl from China, and she asked me if I looked up about my roommate on Facebook. And I just realized that, yeah, why didn't I do that? So I looked her up on Facebook and I found her. She put a very weird last name on Facebook, and it was so funny. And then I added her on Facebook, we became friends, and she asked me about the room because I was already in the room. So I told her that the room is so small and things like that. Actually, to me, the room is not that small, but I know that for American people, the room is so small. And then she just came, and the very first day, I remember that her mother told her that I looked like I'm freaking out because I was really nervous, and I felt like, oh, how am I going to get along well with that person? I know nothing about her and things like that. And I think for the first semester we were not really talking a lot, but then for some reason we just started getting used to each other. And she always tell me, she always did, and she always does now. She always tell me to take her clothes to wear whenever I want, because she has tons of clothes. And I said yes, but I never did because I feel awkward to take some of her clothes without telling her. She told me not to tell her, but I feel awkward. And then she told me later that she thought that I didn't want to wear her clothes, so she wanted to remind me again that I can use her clothes whenever I want. So I feel like, okay, so she really wants me to do that, so I can start doing that. So sometimes I borrow her stuff, and she's a very nice girl, and I'm so glad that I keep rooming with her until my second year, and we are always very good friends. And whenever we have problems that we cannot talk to anyone, we can tell each other and we can talk to each other. Sometimes we cannot find the solutions though, but it's just the feeling of sharing with someone. So I really consider her one of my close friends in here. So I really like her. It's just a very very sad thing that she's going to study abroad next year, next semester. So I'm not going to be able to room with her anymore. So I feel like I don't know if I ever want to room with anyone else, or maybe I just try to get a single room. I wish that I could get a single room. That's all. Yeah.
That's a little sad.
Hi, Phyo Phyo.
Hello.
So you have been here already for 2 years, and you have a roommate, right?
Yeah, I have 2 roommates.
Okay.
One in my first year and one in my second one.
Right. Could you share your experience with us?
Okay. Well, my first roommate, who was Brianna, she was really interesting. I was not so curious about who was rooming with me, but I kind of found her on Facebook, and the first thing she wrote is, "Hi, my roommate," and that's it. And I liked that sentence, and that was all we had for the first time. And then I came to Beria, and then she is really an interesting person. And on the first day that she arrived, her mother told me, well, she doesn't like people much. This is the first impression that I got from her. And then like, oh, you're a person too, so do you like yourself? And then she was like, I like myself a little bit. And that was how we actually started sharing the room. And we don't usually talk, and she is pretty quiet. And it was pretty okay because I don't really like to talk much anyway. And the first time we teamed up together was when our food were stolen from the fridge. Like we have a common fridge that we share in the living room, in the kitchen. And then we put some of our stuff, and then our stuff were stolen. And this is when we actually started talking. And then she was so frustrated because her food was stolen, and I was really angry because my food was stolen too. And then we were talking about it. So the very the very interesting talk we had was about food. Our food getting stolen, so that's kind of interesting. The rest was pretty normal. There was one time she was actually very nice to me, and because I was late for my final exam, like for an hour, so I rushed to there, and I kind of bumped into a can that I was drinking, and it fell over my side, and my laptop was there, and I didn't have time to clean up because I ran out. And when I came back, she cleaned up everything, and it was really kind of her. I really appreciate it. And we don't really have much roommate conflict. Sometimes we just don't talk, and that was it. So
in my second year, I could choose my roommate, so I roomed with my friend. She's from Bolivia, and we're really good friends, and we get along so well. And we bought things together to decorate the room, and it was really fun. It is really fun because I'm still rooming with her, and also in next year too.
So when I first found out about my freshman roommate, I wasn't really that concerned about the roommate issues because I had a lot of things to take care of back home before I came here. So she was the first one who contacted me. That she emailed me and she said, "Oh, you're my roommate," and she told me her name and everything, and some things about herself. So when I came here, she wasn't like a total stranger to me, but I got here first. So and she came in later, and I think I bought her some cookies or something as a welcome, so I can remember that. So throughout the year, we were really good roommates, but like we didn't really have any big issues of like getting into each other's business or something. And she's not here now. She has transferred to another school in her own state, so we just check on each other sometimes still. And after that, I had Moon as my roommate, who was also in this documentary. And we're friends, so it's more simpler, but not really that different because we weren't really that strangers to each other with my former roommate as well. So I think so far I have a good roommate experience. I'm happy with my roommates so far.
Well, when I came here, my roommate didn't appear, didn't show up for the first week, and I couldn't contact him before. So I wasn't sure if he really existed. I looked for him on Facebook, on Google, and he never appeared. Later, after I had my room for myself, like for 2 weeks after coming, and then someone told me, or they told me that he wasn't coming anymore. So they assigned me a new roommate who came, and he was all the time outside, so I got my room for myself almost all the time when I wanted. And then he was really nice, and I never really needed to talk to him, so that was also nice. And well, later he had to go. He just decided to drop off from Korea and go to a different college. So on my second semester for my freshman year, I just started. I had to be assigned with a new roommate, which didn't appear for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I had like 3 weeks for myself again. And then they put someone who my new roommate was someone who didn't talk at all. And well, I am not very talkative too. So far the semester is about to end, and we haven't talked yet so far. But recently I found out his name, so that's good.
How many months has it been since you first started rooming with him?
4 months. Like
4 months?
Yeah.
So you haven't started talking to him yet?
No.
That's a strange roommate you have there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's better.
In my first year, when I was coming to Korea, I didn't know who my roommate was. I knew her name, but I couldn't find her on Facebook. I knew that my international friends through Facebook had found their roommates through Facebook. So I wanted to do the same. I wanted to be able to Skype or to chat with my roommate, to be able to talk about our accommodations in the room. So I never found her. So I was so desperate that one day I went to the Viria Facebook page and I put my roommate's name and I asked her, okay, hello, I'm Erika, I'm your roommate, I'm looking for you. So please, if you see this, email me because I want to talk to you, roommate. So my dad told me later that it was funny because I looked like looking for a lost dog. And when I met her, she told me that they had given her my second name, which is Anaí. So that's why she never found me. I don't know why I couldn't find her because I had her real name on Facebook. So we had a really good relationship.
It was very interesting to have somebody different than me. She likes tattoos and she likes to miss classes, sleep a lot, watch TV. So it was interesting. We had a really good relationship. What I hated was the TV. She had a big TV. I never told her that I completely detested the TV. I used to tell her, could you turn off the TV because I need to do homework, and she would do that. At the end of the year, it was obvious that she was getting tired of me always telling her that. So I realized that we needed a change. We wouldn't be compatible one more year. But in general, we had a really good relationship. She had a fridge, so she let me put my fruits there because I never bought food. I usually brought foods from food service and put them there, including banana. Until one day in the second semester, she told me that she detested bananas, and she asked me if please I could take them out of the fridge and never put bananas again in the fridge. So I can imagine she had to stand the smell of bananas for an entire semester, and she had never told me that. So I appreciate that she was that kind with me. But now we talk to each other every time we see each other. And so yeah, I enjoyed my roommate in my freshman year. It was very interesting. I remember one day when I forgot my key. I went to the study room to do homework and she was in the room. And it was Saturday morning, and she had gone to the security center to run. So I returned to the room to change my clothes because I was in my pajamas to go for lunch. It was almost noon and it was locked and I didn't have my key. So I had to text Facebook her. Thankfully I had my laptop and she was running. I told her, please Shelby, could you return because I need to change my clothes to go for lunch. And she was very kind to return to the room and open the door for me. So yeah, she was a very kind person. She is a very kind person.
And then in my second year, I roomed with my friend Phyo Phyo. She's from Myanmar.
and we are very good friends. So I'm very happy that we are rooming together. We bought a mirror together at the beginning of the year, also a rug. We decided how to accommodate our things, so it's pretty comfortable. So I'm happy. And next year, when I'm a junior, I will be rooming with her again, and we will be living in Deep Green again. We got lucky, actually. We got the last room left in the 3rd floor, so we were really lucky.
Starts with a funny story or whatever, I don't know. So when she came first, you know, international students, we got here first and we stick with each other and everything, and we are, you know, like expecting who's gonna come and what's going to happen and everything. And then she came and I was planning, you know, to show my friendliness and everything, and she opened the door, "Hi, Jenny!" And then she looks at me really scared. She was not really expecting that. She was almost intimidated. And that was like first thing, that there is a barrier, Megi. Make sure that you don't cross that. And then I asked her, since I got here first, I settled down. But then I asked her, you know, would you like me to change my side, and would you, you know, I tried to give her as much space as possible. But she was like, no, I'm fine. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And like, first couple of months was basically not talking at all. Like, it was not like we didn't have good relationship or anything. She's just, I think it was not only me. When I was sharing my experience with some of my friends, they had the same problem, not necessarily problem, but, you know, different situation that they didn't really talk with their roommates. But today I'm rooming with her.
Yeah.
It's right way of putting rooming with her. I don't know. She's still my roommate, and I'm very happy with her because first, she's very organized, and by organized I mean she's clean. Because I have seen some of my international friends' roommates' room, and it's just really shocking. I mean, no offense, like, you know, this is their life and they can do whatever, but it was really shocking that their bed was never made and their clothes was on the floor. It was what? But my roommate never does that, and I'm very happy. She's super friendly, and she's real. So I really appreciate that very first time she was not like me, "Hi, Maggie." You know, it took her time to get to know me, and I appreciate that. She's very nice. I'm happy with her.
Okay.
My host family is first I was going to have a host family like the same as my sister, but they decided that it would be better for me if I had a different one. So they assigned me a different host family, a couple. They have kids and they are grown up, so they just live alone. And they invited me several times to events like Thanksgiving. They also invited my sister, so we got to cook a Bolivian meal with them and spend time and have for me, my first Thanksgiving with them.
I signed up for a family that would have kids and, you know, like a real big family. And my host family, my host parents have 3 kids, almost my age. And first day when I met them, I came back from church, and then I wear skirts, you know, like I always wear skirts, and I had these blues and whatever. And then I met them, and my host mom was very quiet, and it was kind of uncomfortable because, you know, when you first meet somebody and people are really quiet, I was a little, I don't know, uncomfortable. But today I consider them to be really, really nice people. I mean, I consider them at that time too, but I get to know them better. And again, they are really, really real. Like when they smile, they mean it, and when they say a word, they mean it. And they made like one of the most beautiful birthday parties for me, and they made me try pumpkin pie first time in my life. It was really good. So next time she was asking me if you want to go with us with dance practice or something, but Maggie, you don't need to be dressed up. It was funny for me because she said that I was dressed up with this skirt, but no, my host mom, I really wear skirts.
I have a very nice host family. Before coming here, I remember the application. There were several sections to choose from about a family, and I chose family with a kid. I could have chosen a family with no kids, single person. Yeah, I think those were the options. And I chose a family with a kid because I didn't want to be alone with my parents because I thought it would be awkward. But now I feel that it would have been a very interesting experience, like my brother has. Grown kids. They are very kind. They are very similar to me. I mean, my personality. They are quiet, and I lived with them in my first Christmas break. It was a very nice experience because I got to eat food, fresh food, and I got to sleep in a comfortable bed after one semester of sleeping in my dorm. And they didn't have internet, so I used to go to visit my friends because they had internet, and so it was really nice because they live a block away from me, half a block away from me. And now I don't see my host family very often. I see my host dad sometimes because he works in the same building as I do. And they gave me a Christmas present in February this year. So I really enjoy it. I haven't finished using it. I need to go to Papalino. They gave me money for that. So I'm very happy with my host family.
Yeah, that's very kind of them.
My host family is very nice. The CIE, the Center for International Education, they made a program for like pairing the students with the host families, and I signed up for this. So I got a host family for that. After that, and my host family is Asian, and I like the fact that they're Asian because they cook really good foods, that my favorite type of food. And my host family is really warm and friendly. They invite me over their house during the Christmas and Thanksgiving, so I get to spend time with their family. And they have 3 adults. They are working, and some are going to graduate schools now. And it is a very nice thing that I'm having like a second family here. And sometimes on my birthday they take me out, and they would take me to Lexington or the places nearby to buy things. So, and also sometimes they give me presents during the Christmas and Thanksgiving break too, and it's very kind of fun.
When I came here, I saw many other international students signing up for a host family, and to me, I just feel like, okay, I feel like I cannot get along well with someone just because the school assigned them to become my host family, and I feel like I would be obligated to try to get along well with them. But actually, I'm a very picky and difficult girl. So I say, no, let's not let anyone suffer me. And so I didn't sign up. And sometimes I feel a little bit lonely when I see my friends going to their host family to have dinner or stay with them over the break. And I was thinking like, yeah, it would be better if if I have a host family. And then in my second year, just I think one and a half month ago, my supervisor, I have been working for her since the beginning of my sophomore year. She emailed me and she asked me if I had any host family, and I said no. And I asked her why, and she said that I would love to be your host mom. And I felt so moved. I really because I really like her, and I know that she is just like my mother at work. So I feel like, yes, I definitely want you to be my host mom. So she became my host mom, and she drove me to Richmond, have lunch with me. She always think about going somewhere, and she asked me if I want to go with her. She always take care of me a lot. Even before when she was a supervisor, and now as a host mom. So I feel really grateful for that.